welcome to the monthly Marquee. I'm your host, Bart Levins, Director for the Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center. Our first guest today is Mallory Garcia from Central Hardin High School, who will be performing this weekend at the Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center in their co-production with Hardin County Playhouse of Arthur Miller's The Crucible. And next weekend at HCEC-TV's Science Auditorium stage. Mallory, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Did I get all that kind of sort of right?
I think so, yes.
Tell me about what you're doing in The Crucible.
So I am the swing for all the female parts, so if someone can't make it to rehearsal or they end up getting sick for the show, I'm the one that fills in for them. And if everyone makes it, then I'm ensemble.
That sounds like a lot of responsibility.
Yes, it is. It's a lot.
What do you think your chances are that you'll have to go, you're kind of like an understudy, right?
Yes.
What are the chances you think that you're actually going to have to step out and do the performance some point in time?
I think it's very slim because everyone's really committed.
Everyone's really committed.
Oh,
Everyone's
yeah.
got their lines down. Do you have any accident-prone women that you're
I don't
understudying?
think so. No, I don't think
are
so.
any of them dancers? Because dancers
I
can't
mean,
walk.
we have some dancers.
Dancers
but,
are known to trip.
Oh yeah, we definitely have some dancers.
Okay.
But
Good luck with that. In addition to that, I was mentioning to our audience, this is a co-production with
Yes.
Hardin County Playhouse. You've been doing how many shows with Central Hardin? I mean, how many years you've been working with Central Hardin?
2.
2 years. Yes. So how has this experience working with Hardin County Playhouse differed from your other experiences with?
I mean, it's definitely different, but I like it a lot. It's really, it's great to mesh the two together, get some seasoned actors in with us.
Right, right.
Yes.
What have you learned from working with the adults in the show?
It's definitely better feed off of each other's energy. You know, they have a little bit more than some of our high schoolers do, you know.
They come ready.
Yes.
Yeah. Then
Yes.
like, all right, this is what I'm here for. Let's hit the ground running. Yeah.
And they're all so nice.
Oh, that's
They
good.
are.
Because adults can be intimidating,
Yeah.
unless they're shorter than you, and then not so
Yeah.
much.
Most of them are shorter than me, though.
I know that. I can speak from experience there. Yeah. So, have you had the adults from Hardin County Playhouse at every rehearsal, or they come in later?
No, we schedule our rehearsals according to their work schedule more.
Gotcha.
So most of our rehearsals are from 5:30 to 9, so everyone can make it after work.
And are you understudying some of their roles as well? Or just
Yes, all the female parts.
All the female. Cool. So, what's it going to be like if you have to go on for one of the adults?
I just have to act more mature than I probably
there you
would.
There you
Yes.
go. And sometimes the adults have to act more mature too. So that's all good. What is it that you find exciting, rewarding about being on stage and doing things?
It gets me out of my own head. Definitely, I don't have to think about what homework or what projects do or anything happening. And it's definitely like a different side of me. You know, I'm quiet and everything, but sometimes I have to play a part that's big and loud and out there, and it's just a different part of me.
Well, you know, and I talk to students, and you know, from my own experience as well. You know, you go through a day of school or a day of work, and you're bombarded with things, good things, bad things, just things in general. And we always tell people, you know, when you walk through the doors of the theater, and I'm sure Miss Dakin has said this, you got to leave everything outside and focus on this. And I think that, in addition to what you were saying, one of my favorite things about doing theater is getting to be somebody else.
Yeah, that's
not
fun.
being myself. Myself is boring. Myself is shy. Whatever. I like to be someone else. What do you get personally out of being somebody else?
Oh, being someone else. I mean, it's definitely, it makes you think from different perspectives. It gives you a
Sure.
different look on certain things, because sometimes you play a part for so long, it becomes you for a while,
Yeah.
and you start looking at your everyday things different ways.
Well, and you were talking earlier today about doing Radium Girls.
Yes.
And that was a heavy play. And I don't know about you, I knew nothing about that.
No, I heard about it and I had to go and research it.
Right. When Crucible is kind of that way. Were you familiar with the Salem witch trials or the history of the play
I mean,
beforehand?
I had heard a little bit about it, but not much.
What have you learned about it since then?
We definitely learned that it's not all that people like, what you think it is, the misconception and mistaken. She's very into researching it. Like I'll be in like second block and I get like 5 texts a day of something that she found, and she's definitely looking really into it, and it's a lot to learn.
What do you think modern audiences have to gain from coming and seeing The Crucible? How does it correlate to the world we live in today?
We try to make those connections a lot, showing that it's easy for one little lie to spread around and ruin other people's lives.
Boy, that's high school in
Oh,
a
yeah.
nutshell, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the bad things that can happen because of it. Now, we've talked a lot today as we've been going and doing the radio interviews and been transported around by Skaggs limousine. But one of the things that you mentioned that you're very interested in going into the medical field.
Yes.
And how do you think your experiences here at the Performing Arts Center have helped you toward that?
They'll definitely help me relate to other people, put myself in their shoes. It'll help me be able to do that. It'll also help me be able to, communicate with the people, really deliver my message to them.
Yeah, and I think that's important in any field, but particularly the medical profession.
Yes.
I was sharing with you earlier today that science and all of that really intimidates me as a person. So to have someone who can explain it and cut through the jargon, that's going to end up being a big part of your life. And
having to break it down.
Break it down. Exactly. Well, I want to thank you again very much for being here and spending the morning with me. And we look forward to seeing you in the Crucible in just a few days. And again, that's going to be on our stage this weekend, which is, when do you open? What's the opening date?
We have a school day show the Friday, and then Friday night is the opening for the public shows.
And then there'll be a show on Saturday as well.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think what the dates are. 7th and 8th, something like that? Maybe?
8th and 9th.
8th and 9th? 8th and 9th. The audience is helping.
Yes.
Thank you, audience. They're the 8th and the 9th. And then the following weekend on the 15th and the 16th, Friday and Saturday at ECTC.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, I hope people can come see this and hope they get a lot out of it.
Yes.
And you're a sophomore at Central Hardin?
Yes.
So I look forward to seeing you on stage again real soon in the next few years before you head off to your medical profession.
Yes.
Thank you. Our next guest on the show is Miss Carrie Lewis, who is Vice President of the Board for Hardin County Playhouse. And she has some great news for us. Carrie, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Doing great. Now, by the time this airs, people will be, you guys will be, have finished or will be halfway through your 2-weekend run of The Crucible.
Yes.
This is a co-production that Hardin County Playhouse is doing with Central Hardin High School. Yes. How has this experience been for you guys? Now, are you part of the production?
Yes.
So you're acting in it as well?
Yes, I play Ann Putnam.
Okay.
And I have totally and completely enjoyed it. I enjoy working with all these very talented young people. Sarah Dakin is amazing as a director. She's so thoughtful and she brings so much into the performance by her historical research and all the things that she lets us know through various emails and comments. So I feel like I've had a history lesson as well as, a wonderful theater experience. So,
is this kind of collaboration something that Hardin County Playhouse is hoping to do down the road again?
I would love to do it again. I mean, I think it's very inspiring to me to work with such talented young people. And it's always good to see the discipline and the efforts and just the fellowship that we all have together. So it's been awesome to watch all of them, and it just makes me proud, as if I were their mother or grandmother or something like that. So.
Well, and I'm excited for 2 reasons. As we're taping this hasn't happened yet, but even though we've had the opportunity to work with several members of Hardin County Playhouse who have auditioned and been involved backstage or on stage in our productions, this is a first time for Hardin County Playhouse to actually, as an organization, be able to use our space, which is really exciting for us, and I'm really thankful that that's worked out.
Yes.
So I'm excited to have you guys in our home.
I'm excited too. I've never been on this stage.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And the other thing, that's on like the professional level. As a producer, I'm excited about that. As a patron, as an audience member, I'm very excited to see this particular play on the Science Auditorium stage at HCEC-TV. It's one of my favorite plays. I have seen just a few things at that Science Auditorium space, and I really love it. It's a wonderful, wonderful performing space, and I think particularly for this particular play. So those are the two things that I'm really looking forward to.
Well, and me too. I think it's going to be two very different shows
Oh,
simply because
absolutely.
of the space. And the auditorium at HCEC-TV is, you know, very intimate, lots of good seating. The stage is much smaller, but I think you're going to get a lot more power from the actors. You're going to have more of an exchange of power from the audience and the actors.
I think when you're doing a show like that on the PAC stage, you see the broad strokes. When you see it at the Science Auditorium, you see the intricate details.
Exactly. Very well put.
And I think that's, see it twice. See both these two
Absolutely.
spaces. I think you'll see two very different, wonderful performances.
And I think this is a show and a story that should make us all think.
Oh yeah.
And take stock, because you know, we pride ourselves in our technology and all the success and the progress that we've made, and yet you can see some of this played out in today's world, just in a little bit different setting and different use of the language.
And next up for you guys, I know you've had auditions and you've cast Midsummer Night's Dream,
Yes.
which will be happening. When is that? Is that this summer or is it this spring?
It is actually June. I believe the date is June 22nd. It's on our Facebook page, and it's going to be like a 2-day event. It's going to be a pretty big deal by the time we get done with it. It's going to be more of a festival than just a performance.
Great. And
So,
Freeman Lake?
no, actually, it's at Radcliffe City Park.
Oh, I knew that. I'm
Yes.
so sorry.
Yes, Radcliffe has been very excited about bringing us
Home.
up there, and yes, and absolutely rolling out the red carpet for us. So we're really excited to work with those folks as well and bring something really different to the area.
Cool. And in addition to this season, you guys have selected the pieces for your next season.
We have a season. This last year was a very abbreviated season simply because we were coming in kind of midstream. And, you know, HCEC-TV has been wonderful to work with, but they had their schedules all in place. So we were just kind of trying to work in as we could. And it was, you know, not necessarily difficult, but we had to be flexible and they had to be
Sure.
flexible. So this year we've got a little bit more time to plan. So we've submitted our requests, and I think this season is going to go very well, very smoothly. So we've got 4 shows and a fundraiser planned for this upcoming year. So, and in September, we are going to be doing Harvey, which Harvey was the first thing we ever did. So being as we are actually starting our 50th season, it's going to be kind of a nice look back and look forward at the same time. Then in December, we're going to be doing Nuncrackers, and that is the sequel to Nonsense. So it's more of a Christmas-themed, but very funny musical. I think people will enjoy that. We're also going to be doing a fundraiser in October, Night with Poe.
Oh,
That's going to be
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I'm not sure exactly on the dates on that. We're going to have to kind of tweak that between fall break and get those things kind of nailed down. But just keep watching, and we'll give you all the details there. Then in March, we're going to do Night Mother, which is a very powerful play about emotional and mental health and family dynamics and so forth. And then in June, we're going to do Heathers the Musical, which is a little bit different, a little bit edgy, and I think we've got a nice variety of what we're going to be performing this year. So I think the public will really enjoy it. We're going to offer some season tickets sometime at the close of this school year, and try and get back in the swing of things as a real community theater. So.
And how can people learn more about not only next season, but the end of the current season?
Okay. Well, you would just follow us on Facebook or check with our website. We are also accepting applications for guest directors.
Oh, I forgot. Yes.
Yes. So anybody that would like to submit an original play, original work, somebody that would be interested in directing, we have an application online that you can fill out, and we would really love to get some new folks involved. So I know we've got a lot of talent in this community, so we really want to tap into it.
Very good. And you know, as we were talking before we went on air about the importance of Hardin County Playhouse, and you've had this abbreviated season, and getting ready to you've done this abbreviated season. Now you take a deep breath, and here we go.
And here we go.
With a full season of 4 events.
Right.
What, now that you've done a half a season at HCEC-TV, how has that affected the mission of Hardin County Playhouse and what you stand for and your reach?
I think the reach is probably the biggest thing we've seen. I think a lot of folks just need to realize where the Science Auditorium is and how to get there.
Sure.
And that's kind of an ongoing educational process. I've got the map actually posted, the HCEC campus map posted on our Facebook page, but we still get folks asking how to get there and so forth. I don't think our mission has changed. How we approach it has had to change, simply because we've got a smaller space and we've got some limited access things with that auditorium and auditions and so forth. But we're looking for things that we can do in a very simple sense of the word, with simple sets, simple casts. And just, we're going to have to focus on making the story and the acting a lot more powerful and superseding any set that we might have. So it has to be pretty simple, but I don't think we're going to lose anything in that translation of things at all.
I think you'll find your mission expanding over time. I think the college audience there at HCEC is definitely an untapped community that it's a suitcase kind of mentality, you know, go and do classes and zip home wherever that might be. So to get them to hang out a little while longer and see something is a little bit of an educational curve for the students and the faculty there at HCEC, but they've so embraced you guys.
Oh yes, they've been absolutely wonderful, and we would not have survived this last year without them, without a doubt. I think that in the community, I think it surprises me how many people aren't really aware where our community college is.
Right.
And what a beautiful campus it is, and what a beautiful facility is, and all the resources there and the people there. This needs to be known. I mean, our community needs to be very much aware what a great college we have here.
And that they are as much part of the community as anything or any other group.
Absolutely, and a very important part. And it's a wonderful group of people, the staff and the faculty there, and certainly Dr. Pate. And I think as time goes along, I think people will see the very positive impact of their community influence as well as Hardin County Playhouse. Community theater is something that any community that is really going to progress and evolve in a positive direction, the arts has to be a part of it. You know, I've looked at a lot of small communities and community theaters, and that really helps a community grow in a very, very extra special way.
Yeah.
There's so many dimensions. People have, they connect better, they get together better, their world is enlarged just a little bit. And I think the more that we are slaves to our schedules and our busy lives, I think it's more important that we are able to move out of that so that we can see another perspective.
Get out of the bubble.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Again, tell us how we can learn more about Hardin County Playhouse. What's the Facebook title?
The Hardin County Playhouse on Facebook.
That's pretty easy to know.
The website is www.hardincountyplayhouse.com. So
Excellent.
Just look us up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our last guest today is Miss Carmen Caldera-Bratska, representing the E-Town Performing Arts Center. Carmen, you're busy as ever. We were just getting caught up on things. People were shouting things at you on your way out the door.
Yes, yes. Email or it doesn't exist. It won't happen because I will forget. I'm at that age. I can claim that.
Well, so what's going on? What's keeping you so busy?
Well, we've been in rehearsal with the high school for their play coming up, Play On.
Play On is the name of the play.
Name of the show. It is hilarious, and most of them have never done a show before because the high school hasn't done a full production in no one even knows how long. It's been that long.
I think the last time was Our Town, probably at least 10 years ago, maybe 15.
Probably 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a long time. So they're doing really well. They're, getting it down, figuring out how it all works, and they're loving it. And they open the 22nd of March.
Cool.
So that whole weekend, we'll have shows, and they're excited. So that's been taking up a whole lot of time. But the 12th, we have the high school band doing a concert at 7 o'clock, and it is free, open to the public. The more the merrier. We love to have a good crowd. It's good for them, and it's a wonderful opportunity for families to experience live music for free.
There's
Yeah.
not a lot of those kind of opportunities.
No.
I always say one of the unsung wonders of Hardin County are our high school bands.
Yes.
They are probably some of the sparseliest, if that's a word, sparseliest attended events with the most phenomenal musicianship.
Yes.
And even lower attendance and even better are our high school jazz bands. I mean, you really,
Yes.
if you see it in the calendar for us or for you,
Right.
you really owe it to yourself and your family to see some. They're not long, not long concerts, usually
No.
about an hour, but just incredibly fun, wonderful, and to hear a horn section in a performing arts center,
Yes.
to feel your chair vibrate from the percussion.
Yes.
Live music orchestrally is just incredible.
It is. There's
and to
nothing
see
like
it for
it.
free.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't do that. So yeah, we're excited that that's coming back because they are doing more concerts this year. We have new directors, and the middle school added a Halloween concert back in October, which was incredibly fun. And so we're really excited about all that. And then we have some of our high schoolers coming to Barnes & Noble.
To help
with
us
you.
out,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, so they're excited about that. And our middle school starts their rehearsals Friday for their show in April. So we are staying
And what is
busy.
their show?
They are doing a series of one acts.
Okay.
So I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to call it, because evening of one acts doesn't work for a Sunday matinee. So rethinking. But there's 3 different one acts, and so yeah, that's something new for them.
I got a title for you. We'll talk afterward.
right.
I just figured it out.
Good deal.
We can talk just a little bit. Your students are going to be joining me, as well as Central Hardin students, at Barnes & Noble
Right.
on Thursday, March 14th, for a celebration of Shakespeare.
Yes.
It's from 6 to 7. It's part of our book fair, 2 days book fair, and it's all in prepping people to come back to the pack on the next day, Friday the 15th, the Ides of March,
Right.
for Macbeth,
Yes.
presented by Kentucky Shakespeare Festival.
Yes, and they're always wonderful.
Yeah,
They always do a
that's
great job.
great show.
Yes. Yeah, so we're excited to be a part of that. Thank you for having them.
And then, so come do that. Come see us on the 15th. Then you want to go and see Play On the
Right.
weekend of the 22nd.
Right, 22nd through the 24th.
And for people who don't know, what is Play On about?
It is about a community theater group, which, having grown up in community theater, I know these people intimately. But it's a community theater group who has agreed to do a play written by a local playwright, or at least she calls herself a playwright. But it will put the theater in the black for the first time that year. So because they don't have to pay royalties, they're excited to do the show. Except that she rewrites the show on an almost daily basis, and so they can't learn the show because it's always changing. And so 3 days before they open, she gives them more rewrites. And so by the time the show opens, it is a complete disaster and absolutely hilarious.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
How do people find out about tickets and so forth?
We are still working out tickets because they haven't done a show.
Sure.
So this is a whole new thing they have to figure out accounting-wise. But we will have all the information on our Facebook page, Elizabethtown Performing Arts Center. All Elizabethtown High School students will get a free ticket.
Great.
As will the faculty and staff. And then for the public, it'll be $10 or $5 for students.
Sounds great. Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you.
'Cause you got to love it, yeah. So, time. 'Cause I'm moving on the groove. 'Cause you got to love it, yeah. So, time. 'Cause I'm moving on.
Some people believe that the play Macbeth is cursed, and that it's bad luck to say the title of the play or quote a line of dialogue from it inside a theater unless you are rehearsing or performing it, of course. Doing so, they say, brings tragedy upon the person who utters those fateful words as well as everyone around them. So, instead of calling the play by its rightful title, Macbeth is instead often referred to by theater folk as the Scottish play, after the country in which the story takes place. But how did this legend come to be? And what can you do to guard yourself against the curse when you come to see the Kentucky Shakespeare Festival's performance of Macbeth this month at the PAC? One theory is that the spells chanted by the three witches early in the play are real, thus cursing any production. However, since Shakespeare gave no credit to those alleged co-authors, this theory is pretty difficult to prove. Another theory points to the fact that historically Macbeth has been plagued with accidents. However, considering how many fights, deaths, and special effects are essential to the plot, and how often Macbeth has been performed since 1606, it's really no wonder there have been more accidents attributed to this play than any other. Regardless of its origin, here is the traditional cleansing ritual should you find yourself at the PAC with your foot in your mouth. The offender must immediately step out of the building, then turn around 3 times and spit over your left shoulder, and then finally swear or recite a line from some uncursed Shakespeare play. Some superstitious purists even insist that the wrongdoer can only re-enter the building if they are invited to do so. This extra step would certainly make it easier to punish repeat offenders by, well, leaving them outside in the cold. So, you now are well prepared to safely come see Kentucky Shakespeare perform the Scottish play at the PAC on March 15th. And should you decide to tempt fate, pray for no rain.